Yeah.
No, he's gonna drop it off during the meeting, so we'll see when he drops it off.
Right.
Call to order the meeting of the Verona Common Council Monday, March 18th, 2019 at 6:01 p.m. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we'll have the roll.
Alderperson Cronin.
Present.
Alderperson Gaskell.
Here.
Alderperson Journey.
Here.
Alderperson Kemp.
Here.
Alderperson Cole.
Here.
Alderperson Riki.
Here.
Alderperson Touche.
Present.
Alderperson Posey is absent and excused.
Thank you. We'll we will move on to, excuse me, we'll move on to public comment. If there's anyone from the public who wishes to speak, now would be the time to do so. And if there's anyone from the public who wishes to speak, now would be the time to do so. Seeing no one approaching the podium, we will move on to item 5, which is approval of the minutes from the March 11th, 2019 Common Council meeting. Comments, corrections, motions.
Move approval.
Motion by Alder Cole. Is there a second? Second by Alder Cronin. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the March 11th, 2019 Common Council meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Next up, we'll move on to item 6, mayor's business, which I got one item, which is an overview of the safety issue at Llanos in Maine. Staff's going to give a brief summary. We're not quite ready at the stage where we will be talking about action quite yet, but I wanted to let people know that we're working on it, that currently the police are investigating the accident, and that the Public Works Department is looking into the possibility of a stoplight at that intersection. My personal view is we should do whatever we can to make that intersection safer, and we should look at both short-term solutions and potentially long-term solutions. I think sometimes cities work slow, and it frustrates me. But on the other hand, it's good for democracy because it gives people a chance to weigh in. It gives the public and the press a chance to have discussions on issues. So that's a very good thing. But sometimes it makes us a little bit slow. But I think we're working very fast on this issue because it's important. I also think this issue shows the importance of how important it is to plan for safety up front, whether it's people walking, people driving, people biking. I think that when our neighborhoods get designed, that we need to look at safety first, because it can be really hard to retrofit an area after it's been built. And then finally, I want to say I hope that we will partner with the school district on this issue. No matter what the solution or solutions are, we need to have buy-in from the school district. I know that the school board thinks it's important, so I don't anticipate any issues there, but it's definitely something we will be working with the school district on. And with that, I will turn over to Mr. Sayer, if you can give us a brief summary.
Sure. As of right now, staff, as Mayor Diaz explained, is still looking into the kind of situation there. The police are in the process of finalizing the actual summary from the accident. Public Works is exploring all options and working with outside consultants as well, and having those conversations. So as of right now, we are not in a position to provide any details, but we do plan to place this on the council agenda at the next council meeting, and that would be April 8th. At that point, staff will be in a position to provide a broad and full set of background on the situation, and also come forward with potential options and ideas of how to kind of resolve this and correct the concerns that are out there. But as Mayor Diaz explained tonight, we aren't in that position, but we will be there by that next meeting on April 8th. So that will be on the agenda actually as an item, potential action item at that meeting.
Thank you. Would anyone like to add to the discussion at this point? Alder Kemp?
What's,
Alder Cole?
what specifically is staff working on? I mean, I know you don't want to get into too many details, but, you know, I've received a couple emails from constituents. I drive on that street to drop my daughter off at daycare, so I too am concerned. What options besides a stoplight are we looking at, which is a long-term solution? Are there short-term solutions that could be done as quickly as possible to ensure the safety of kids crossing on that street or intersection?
Yeah, we're looking at kind of any options that are out there. I don't want to get into too much discussion on this, partially because it's not actually on the agenda tonight for any type of discussion or potential action. But we're looking at every option that's out there. So I mean, that includes looking at potential traffic signals, looking at potential flashing beacons that you see potentially in downtown, and any other options out there as well too. There's also obviously the cost implication, obviously, to each item that's being kind of discussed as well. So we're just trying to pull at least enough information that we can between now and that 8th meeting to come forward with hopefully a broad set of ideas. And some might not be feasible or might not be liked, but at least trying to get the full spectrum of ideas that are out there that are possible.
Thank you.
Alder Cole, then Alder Gaskell, then Alder Ricky.
Just like to say, when we're thinking about the long-term solutions, I think we also need to consider the project that's going on across the street from the middle school, which is, you know, more senior living facility. I think that's really going to increase the traffic around there, and it's also going to increase pedestrian traffic with potentially elderly people taking walks. So along with you know, elderly people and children, I think it's our duty as a city to make that intersection as safe as possible. And I firmly would throw my support behind you know, a traffic light there to control the safety of that intersection.
I do want to clarify one thing. The senior housing, there currently is not an approved project there. It's been proposed, but it hasn't been approved
If
yet.
it goes in there,
Yeah.
that would happen. Yeah.
Alder Gaskell, then Alder Ricky.
Thank you. I'd just like to mention that I know that Chief Coughlin is also involved in this process because we could over-design that intersection and we're still going to have people that are late. We're still going to have people that feel like they don't have to follow the rules. They're late to get their kid to school. So there's got to be an enforcement component of that intersection, however it gets redesigned, to let people know that you can't barrel through there just because you want to. So it's not just going to be an engineering solution. It has to go hand in hand with some enforcement and also just a culture shift that once you hit City of Verona city limits, you drive the speed limit and you observe the traffic laws.
Alder Ricky.
I just wondered, and you don't have to answer this question now, but if the intersection at the driveway of the high school and Silent Street will be brought up in thinking of options for this process again, or if that's still off the table.
Mr. Sayre.
Is that the Silent Street extension that we've talked about before?
Yes.
I don't know if that's going to be looked at. I think there's other ideas that could be discussed, potentially alternative access points into the, middle school and high school. But I think we'll take a broad look at the overall area and see what are some possible solutions. And it might be a combination of a few, not just even one, of potential ideas of maybe directly dealing with that intersection, but also looking at the overall system. There could be other improvements. So I don't think we're going to get into that, but we will look, obviously, not just at the intersection, but as the holistic kind of area in there.
Alder Gaskell.
Thank you. I'd also like to at least initiate conversation about a broader scope and hopefully interview our crossing guards, because they're the people who are in front of every school, so that we're not doing this piecemeal waiting for something to happen at each school, but start to look at the situation and the traffic around each school as it exists now, and especially when we have this shift coming where suddenly this whole campus is going to be 14-year-olds and under who aren't driving themselves there, but parents will be driving them there. So if we can talk to the crossing guards, they have every single scenario has happened to them traffic-wise, and we might be able to get some good information from them.
I just want to say I 100% agree with what Alder Gaskell said, that it's super important that we be proactive and have a good partnership with the school district, because I've heard and seen it myself that there's a lot of potential issues at a lot of different schools. Other comments? Alder Ricky?
That just reminded me that one thing to for sure look into is right turns from Main Street to Llanos, or vice versa, I guess. But I've heard from a crossing guard that is an issue.
Thank you. Any other comments from the council? Okay, this will return at the April 8th City Council meeting for more in-depth discussions. City staff will have more details, and I look forward to taking it up then. Next, we'll move on to item 7, announcements. Does anyone from the council have any announcements? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 8, administrator's report. Mr. Sayer?
Thank you. I have nothing tonight, just a reminder that we do not have a meeting next week. So next Monday, you do not have to be here.
All right, with that, we'll move on to item 9, committee reports. Public Safety and Welfare Committee, Alder Rieke.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve the end user license agreement with Zerker Technologies LLC and Community Data Platform Membership Agreement with TriTech.
Motion by Alder Rieke, is there a second?
Second.
I'm going to say, give that to Alder Cole. Alder Rieke?
Thanks. The attached agreements, or the agreements that are in the packet, relate to the city's multi-jurisdictional public safety informational system and their record management system. These agreements are a partnership with Fitchburg and other municipalities, 3 other municipalities. The city attorney has reviewed the agreements and has no significant concerns, and the staff recommends the Common Council approve the agreement subject to the final review and approval by the city attorney and chief of police.
Thank you. And I understand that review was part of the original motion, the review by city attorney?
With the contingency of final approval by city attorney and chief of police, yes.
Okay, and that was the understanding of the second, Alder Cole as well? Okay. You've heard the explanation. Questions, comments on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the end user license agreement with Zerker Technologies LLC and Community Data Platform Membership Agreement with TriTech with the conditions specified, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Anything further, Alder Rieke? Thank you. Next, we'll move up on to 9B, Public Works, Sewer and Water Committee. Alder Touche.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am making a motion to approve a design contract for project ID 2018-108 East Side Sanitary Interceptor Replacement contingent upon city attorney review.
Motion by Alder Touche. Is there a second? Seconded by Alder Kemp. Alder Touche.
In an effort to make this meeting last longer, I'm going to repeat something that we did back in February 11th of this year. The Public Works Committee and Common Council approved a memorandum of understanding between the City of Verona and the Madison Metropolitan Sewer District for a joint project. The MOU describes a cooperative joint effort for the purpose of design and construction of the MMSD pumping station 17 force main relief Phase 1 and the City of Verona East Side Interceptor replacement. Collectively, the project, given the proximity to the proposed city and MMSD facilities within the anticipated construction corridor, overall cost savings for the ratepayers affected by both parties can be achieved by designing and constructing the project together. By combining the two projects, cost savings are anticipated through economies of scale and elimination of duplicate efforts. With the combined effort and per the MOU, a request for proposal was solicited to consultants for field surveying, permitting, and design services. So now back to the motion. We received 6 proposals for the project on February 1st. MMSD and the City of Verona Public Works staff reviewed the proposal with the following criteria. They looked at project approach, key technical issues, strength of project team, pricing, schedule, and overall impression. The prices range from $253,760 to $449,900. Both city staff and MSD is recommending the contract be awarded to Short Elliott Hendrickson, or SEH, based on the grading scale for the above criteria. This contract shall not exceed $308,000, $154,250 being Verona's portion, and as I said before, will be contingent upon legal review. SEH has the construction team has performed the inspection of South Main Street streetscapes for project work that they've done for us in the past.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions, comments on the motion? Seeing none. All those in favor of awarding the design contract for project 2018-108, the East Side Sanitary Interceptor Replacement with the contingency specified, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Anything further, Alder Touche?
That is all.
Next up, we are on to item 10, adjournment. A motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Motion by Alder Touche. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Kemp. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And we are adjourned. Thank you.